Is the S25 Ultra better than the Pixel 9 Pro XL? And this is a question I got asked yesterday. Actually, somebody asked me which one I like better. And this is going to be an interesting discussion because I like both of them. They're both excellent phones, and you can't go wrong with either one of them. They get the best that both brands have to offer, and they're just a little bit different. They're not exactly the same. I mean, of course, Samsung, the Galaxy S25 Ultra, it's got the anti-reflective coating on the screen. It's got Gorilla Glass Victus armor. It's got DeX. It's got the S Pen. It's got One UI. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there that stands out that's different. But then, of course, with the Google Pixel, you've got the Tensor chip, you've got all the AI stuff, you get your quarterly feature drops, you got what probably now is the most reliable software updates out there. It seems they've passed Samsung up in that regard. It's noted as being the #1 smartphone camera in the U.S., even though it doesn't have a 200 megapixel camera. So although there are a lot of similarities, there's also things that make them stand out. I mean, just from using them on a day-to-day basis, the Pixel has better haptics. I mean, I love the haptics on this thing, and the screen, it could even look just a hair better. I mean, I really like the way that the Super Actual display looks on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. I mean, I like the feel of it in the hand. The screen is beautiful. They both have the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. Of course, one other thing that sucks about the Pixel is, I mean, it only starts with 128 gigabytes of storage for a $1099 phone. That's something that we don't like. It has UFS 3.1. It doesn't have UFS 4. So, I mean, there are some trade-offs here and there. But when it comes to the day-to-day experience with using both of these phones, they both stand out to me for different reasons. I mean, I enjoy stock Android when I use it on the Pixel. Before, back in the days of the Pixel 5 and then the Pixel 4, I didn't like stock Android. It just didn't feel special to me. I would fire it up and it just felt like using my Chrome browser. Like, it just wasn't something that I got excited about. And One UI I really liked. They made a lot of advancements, all the overlay stuff, all the changes that they made, especially when they switched from TouchWiz years ago. So from an aesthetics perspective, I really do enjoy One UI. Like, One UI is really something that I've enjoyed. And then for years, Samsung's had the best software updates. Like the last 2 or 3 years, it's just now that everything's kind of flipped. The poles have flipped, the magnetic poles when it comes to Android. So it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where I like both of them, and I like both of them for different reasons. And it's funny because neither one of these phones may even be my absolute favorite. I mean, I love my Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6, and I'm super excited about the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7. And I also like the Motorola Razr Plus from 2024. There's a lot of phones that I like. And as somebody who does this for a living, or I sit around and I make videos about phones, I sit here and I talk about it, and I'm like, hey, this is what I like. I feel like I like a lot of them. It's hard to dial in with the favorites because, I mean, the new Oppo Find N5 is fantastic, but I still like the S Pen and I still like One UI over on the Z Fold 6. So there's not really a perfect phone for me. I don't think that there's necessarily like a perfect phone. I'm like, this is the absolute best phone. But I get a lot of people that ask about the S25 Ultra and the Pixel because, I mean, these are like two of the best phones that you can get on the market right now. And I mean, this one's still $200 cheaper. And when it goes on sale, they've had some pretty good sales on the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Google's been very aggressive with that, and Samsung's been very aggressive trying to sell the S25 Ultra. So if I were to say which one should you buy, it would come down to something like, okay, well, do you like the quarterly feature drops? Do you like the game-changing, like cutting-edge AI stuff? Because I think that Google still has a leg up there, especially with Gemini, especially with this whole Astra AI assistant that's probably going to be coming on board soon. They're doing some pretty cool stuff over there. Even with the Gemini and the video now, you can have it create video. Like, I think it's an 8-second video clip. You can give it a prompt and not just create an image, but create a video clip. So they're doing some pretty cool stuff with Google, with Gemini. And then also on top of that, the best cameras. I like the way that the Samsung phones take cameras. I think the zoom is still better, but I think hands down the selfie camera on the Pixel 9 Pro, Pixel 9 Pro XL is the best you can get out there right now. But still, as good as the quality is, it still has some issues with fringing around like portrait photos and things like that. When it comes to the bokeh, I think Samsung does a little bit better job there. And I kind of like the color profile. A lot of people really like the process look because everything about the cameras when it comes to the Pixel is all about computational photography. They're the best at it. They make some amazing photos. I take some photos sometime like, dadgum, that looks good. And not because of me, it's just because the phone's doing all the work. So, yeah, there's trade-offs in this stuff. And then, of course, the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. A lot of people don't believe in the Tensor chip. They don't like the Tensor 4 that's in here. And as a power user, as like a 0.01% of the population with how much I use my phones, I don't notice any difference. I use the A18 in the iPhone. I use the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor in the S25 Ultra and other Android phones. And I use the Tensor 4. It feels exactly the same in day-to-day performance and power and everything that I need it to do. Maybe if you're trying to export 4K video from your phone, maybe it might be a little bit better with the Snapdragon 8 Elite, and you're going to get a leg up if you want to play Call of Duty Mobile on max settings. Yes, it's not the best in the world when it comes to gaming. I don't do a lot of gaming when it comes to my phones, but those are the things that people care about, right? Is it the most perfect chip in every way? No, but the Tensor 4 I think it's a really good chip. I like it. I could use it happily for several years. I think it's a very good flagship level chip. It just doesn't have the benchmarks or some of the extra horsepower on the upper end that the Snapdragon 8 Elite or the A18 does. But I don't think that it needs to, because it does everything that Google's designed it to do, and that's the whole point. From the ground up, they built the Tensor experience for Android for what they're trying to do. So I think that the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I think it's the best phone that Google's ever made. The S25 Ultra, I think it's the best phone that Samsung's ever made. And it's really difficult to sit here and be like, okay, which one should you buy, right? Well, a lot of it comes down to deals. Which one has better deals? Which one has better sales? What do you want to do with the phone? Do you care more about computational photography? Do you care more about a 200 megapixel camera and an S Pen? Do you care about DeX? Because DeX is definitely something that's a leg up over the Pixel phones that they certainly don't have, and so is the S Pen. And then baseline storage is higher, and they both have 7 years of support, but there was a small problem with the S24 Ultra, the S23 Ultra. We've been sitting around waiting for these updates, and it just finally rolled out in April, 6 months after the Google Pixel got Android 15. So there are some hesitations there when you look at the software experience and you go, okay, 7 years, can I really buy into that? Well, before I was like, yeah, you could buy into that with Samsung. Google announced it. I'm like, really? Like, Google can't commit to anything longer than lunch. So can they really commit to 7 years of updates? That's something that people worry about, right? But it's turned out that Google's been Johnny on the spot this whole last year with updates, and Samsung has been kind of falling behind a little bit. So, yeah, both of the phones are fantastic. Like, you can't go wrong with either one of them. It just boils down to, do you like Google? Do you like Samsung? That's something that plays into that, because some people hate Samsung. Some people hate Google. Some people hate Apple. Every video I make, I'll be like, oh, this phone's fantastic. And someone's like, screw Apple, screw Samsung, screw Google. People, for whatever reason, tribalism, they got burned with their Samsung Galaxy S2 15 years ago. I don't know what it is, but it's like every time I put a video out, I'm like, oh, this phone's good, or this is cool, or I like this phone, or just a video in general, and someone's like, oh, this phone sucks. And they don't even have it. They haven't even used it. So people like what they like. If you've been with Google, hey, buy another one, because the Pixel 9 Pro XL is the best phone that they've ever made, and it's fantastic. Battery life is good. I think the battery life is still better with the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor and the S25 Ultra, but it's still really good battery on the Pixel. It lasts me all day, so it should last you all day. I mean, unless you're doing gaming, and that's the thing with both these phones. If you're going to sit there and play Call of Duty Mobile for 8 hours straight, you're going to have to plug it in at some point. You're going to kill the battery at some point. Like, no battery is really almost unkillable in a day, but it just depends on what you're doing. And then if you're in like the top 1% of unrealistic phone performance experiences. People don't do that stuff. So anyway, I know there's been a lot of going back and forth, but here's the moral of the story. I love both of these phones. Whenever the Pixel came out, I'm like, man, this phone is amazing. I could not get enough of it. And then the S25 Ultra came out, and then it kind of changed a lot of my feelings I had about the S24 and the S23 Ultra. I love the form factor change. I love the screen on here. I love that it's easier and lighter to hold. I still love being able to use the S Pen. And I love the anti-reflective screen display that it's got. It's so nice. We're outside. It's like, oh, wow, the light's not blinding me in the face when I'm trying to look at my screen, even though it's got 3,000 or 2,700 nits brightness or 4,000 or whatever. You can have 4,500 nits brightness and still stuff's going to reflect all over the screen. So Samsung's done a lot of thoughtful things. Google's done a lot of great things. And I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these phones. Like, I really don't. And I've got a whole library of videos on both of these. But I was trying to think about what I wanted to talk about today. And people I had a question that I was like, you know what, how should I answer this? And I'm going to answer it with a non-answer by saying I love both of them. I could use either one of these phones basically interchangeably and have a good experience. It'll do everything I need it to do, and I will enjoy using my phone that day. And that's something that's fantastic to say, because I can't say that about every phone. I can't say that about my iPhone for sure. That thing pisses me off on a daily basis. Both of these phones they've been solid, they've been enjoyable, and they're the cutting edge of what you can get out there in the phone. They're just different flavors. It's like going up to Whataburger, In-N-Out to go get a soda. It's like, well, which one's better, Coke or Dr. Pepper? I like both of them. I love Dr. Pepper, but some days I want to drink Coke. Some days I want to drink root beer. Some days I want to get, not Mountain Dew. I hate Mountain Dew. If I offended anybody by that, I'm sorry. You can hit the unsubscribe button. But I do not like Mountain Dew at all. But yeah, they're both fantastic. They're both amazing. Find the one that you like. They're both supported for 7 years. Look at what you want from the different features that they have that stand out for you and see what lines up best with your wallet or your carrier incentives, because they've both been fantastic in both of those regards for the last year. So they're both amazing. That's my verdict. They're both amazing. I can use them interchangeably. If I had to pick one, like if I just had to pick one, honestly, it would probably be this one though. I love the Sony Xperia phone so much. I love the dedicated shutter button. I love the fingerprint scanner built into the power button. I love the form factor. I love the size. There's just so much I love about this phone. The headphone jack, being able to plug in my external Sony monitor that I have for it, my SD card. There's just so much stuff. I'm one of the few people that actually covers the Sony phones out there on the market. And I just love them. And I'm waiting for the Xperia 1 Mark 7. And the Xperia 1 Mark 7 will probably be my new favorite phone once it gets here. Is it the best? No, it's not. It's not the best. And sometimes you can't argue with, right? Sometimes reason doesn't match up with logic. But there's just so many things, so many intangibles, and so many little things that Sony does with their phones. I love those. Like if I only use one phone out of these 3 phones for the next 6 months, that would be really hard. That would be really stinking hard, because I don't know. I'll answer that question when the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7 gets here, because the Xperia 1 Mark 6 is a little bit behind these other ones. These are the new generations. I want to see what the new Xperia 1 Mark 7 has, but it's so hard to even sit here and have this conversation outside of my head. These phones are fantastic. You can't go wrong with basically any flagship phone at this point. I'm not even talking about the OnePlus 13. OnePlus 13 is an amazing phone too, and it's, a fantastic option. Best phone they've ever made. This is a good year. Like, the moral of the story, the takeaway from all this is that phones are so good now that this is probably the best year ever for smartphones, because taking a look at the Pixel 9 Pro XL, taking a look at the S25 Ultra, taking a look at the OnePlus 13, like, Android's firing on all cylinders right now. There's so many good options, and they're being competitive. Pick your poison. So anyway, that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. And I'll see you guys next time.